All right. The second question will be, in the past there has been many political organizations has been established, but without any success. Now, but they were not successful to bring Islamic countries together, but they were not successful. So the reason was they had official meetings with official speeches, and they were not effective. Now, do you think an Islamic union that will be based on brotherhood, love, compassion, mercy, justice, which will embrace Israel, Armenia, and Russia, so it will embrace Jews and Christians, could that be modeled successful in our time?
I would think that you need a little more than these. You mentioned compassion and justice. All these people who signed these agreements from the UN onwards, they all agreed to all of this, but they lacked a very important element. The important element is the relationship with God. And this is where it is possible, working through our understanding that we are all under God. With this understanding as a basis for the compassion, for the truth, and for everything else, on this basis, we can build a coalition or a method of working together. The Turkish Islamic Union with Israel and Armenia in it as a political entity with a name union, that's all right, but as I understand from Rabbi Abrahamson and other people, in Islam it is recognized that different people have different creeds, different understandings, and different religions, and within this, so it is a political and perhaps even to a certain extent more than political union, but each group within this union will retain their individuality, will retain their personality, their religion, and so on. Yes. So the answer is yes, with the definition that it is like a union of people. You have the man and the woman, and the man stays a man, and the woman stays a woman. but it is definitely a union, and this is definitely a possibility. But what it needs is the emphasis on being under God. And just since we're relating, I think American people will also be seeing this. In the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America, they say, "One nation under God, with liberty and justice for all." I think we can adopt that also. We will be one political union under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Definitely. And in this union, of course, there will be independent states, there will be democracy, there will be laicism. And so, as you said, in this union, Jews will become more religious, Christians, Muslims, and also the unbelievers will be first-class citizens also. They will be protected. And like believers, they will be first-class citizens also. But this spiritual union will bring peace, justice, and tolerance, because, as you mentioned in the previous question, we are in the Messianic age. And let me explain this actually to our viewers. Mehdi and the Messiah, Moshiach, or Torah, is the same person, because the signs are the same. And Moshiach will bring peace to the entire world. And it will bring peace, justice, tolerance, and only through Moshiach this will be possible. And this is a good model for everybody. This will bring peace. What do you think, Rabbi Abrahamson? Your opinion?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, we see that in the Torah, there's many descriptions of what the Messianic age will be like. There will be a time of justice, a time of peace, a time when there will be all nations will call upon the Lord in a pure voice. And we see that these expectations, which are laid out in very detail in tens of verses in the Torah, are the same expectations that we see in the Quran and in the Hadith. And it's obvious that these expectations can only be fulfilled by the same person. So it'll be, so it's, as you say there, it's what you were saying also before. I had an interesting quote I wanted to share. in the Quran. It says that, "O mankind, we created you, male and female, into different nations and different tribes, only that you should know each other.
Yes.
And verily the most honored among you in the sight of God is the one who is the most righteous. Truly God has complete knowledge of all things and is fully aware."
Yes.
And the word to know there is lit'arafu, which is based on the root of bil ma'rufi. And it means not just to know a person like you casually know a person, but it means to be fair and to be honorable and in a kind manner. So even though we were created with this diversity, we'll see in the time of Al-Mahdi, in the golden age, that people will be fair, they'll be honorable, and they'll be respecting of each other. And this is what is the essence of the golden age.
Inshallah.
I'll take you up, if I may, on the changes in society with their relationship to God. We all know that Turkey, perhaps as a leader of the Islamic world in this sense, has become much more religious over the past decade. It's expressed itself not only in politics, it expresses itself in many, many ways. What is not so well known is that the same thing is happening in Israel. In 2009, I was here in Turkey as a guest of Mr. Oktar, and when I had some time, was in a library, and I saw the article, "Think Again, God," by Karen Armstrong in Foreign Relations Journal. And there she points out that the 21st century is very likely to be the century of God. Now, we see this in Turkey, we see this in Israel. Here I have the Israeli Studies Review, which is not a religious journal. It is a very secular journal. The people who publish in this journal are mainly people who are afraid of religion. And I'll show you the first page of this, the content. You see here, yes, Israel is becoming more religious. Secular Jews, from proactive agents to defensive players. The need for an epistemological turn is an attempt to define away what's going on. What's going on is an amazing phenomenon to these people. We received in Israel about 750,000 very secular Jews, and some of them non-Jews, from the former Soviet Union. They had totally secular upbringing. And they became, when you compare, and these comparisons are on the total Israeli population. So you see the Israeli population increased by 750,000 secular people, and nevertheless the total increased. So these 750,000 secular people became, to a large extent, very much more religious, very much more close to God. And this is going on despite a considered effort from people who are not religious, who are afraid of religion, to prevent that. Here it's got this table: participation in Jewish traditional practices before and after migration. Just to give a few of these. In major Jewish holidays, in the USSR, 8% to 18% in different surveys. In Israel, 57 to 88%. You see, this is just one of the statistics. You have all over the same increase in not only in religious observance and in religious thought in Jewish society in the state of Israel. The same seems to be happening in Jewish society in many parts of the diaspora. And so I think that Karen Armstrong was right. The 21st century is the century of the comeback of religion.
Definitely. And actually, this is probably a very powerful evidence of that we are in a messianic age.
Yes.
That's the footsteps of Moshiach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's evidence given by people who do not believe in it. Despite their bias, they are forced to admit this.